Hi there, welcome to Podcast 24. I'm Lisa.
And I'm Melissa.
And we're from Espace Tricot, a knit shop in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And here we are filming on a Monday afternoon.
A rainy Monday is a perfect knitting day.
Yes, so hopefully you're all knitting, even if it's not raining at your place. I'm sure you're knitting, watching us on this podcast.
So we have a lot to cover today, Lise, because
Yes, we
are
do.
fresh from Rhinebeck. Well, I guess it's actually been a week and a half now.
Yeah.
2 weeks?
2 weeks, I guess.
Is it really?
2 weeks, I don't
Yeah.
know. Time is just, the
I know,
fall is
but
a
I can't
crazy
believe
season.
it's been 2 weeks. It was such a...
I know. And it was so beautiful and the weather was nice and now it's
It
getting
was
cold and
perfect,
rainy.
yeah.
But Rhinebeck seems to have this magic that the weather's always great at Rhinebeck.
Yes, it was. And the other magical thing about Rhinebeck, I don't know if it's good or bad, is it passes by in a blur, a complete blur.
Well, for us at least.
Yeah, because it was there. There were so many people to see, so many things to do, so many places to go, and
Not enough time.
Not enough time. You start so many conversations with people that just sort of you can't. You just want to continue and you can't, and so like I say, it just passes by in a blur, and then you look forward to it for so long, and then it's over.
And it's over. And I have to say, Saturday, Melissa and I was like, we're just go all day. It's like we left our place, go. And then when it was done and it was closed and we're walking to the car, we're like, oh my God. Oh my God, everything hurts. Or I'm like, I feel like old ladies. It's like, get me a drink and my knitting.
That's right.
It was a nice...
that's what we did. That was great. So we had a great Saturday night.
Yeah, we did. And should we talk a little bit about...
Yeah, so maybe we should start at the beginning, actually.
Yeah, so, it was tough because we had to leave super early because we had to get there for India Untangled. We had advanced... entrance.
Yeah, so we were sponsors of India Untangled this year. So we had sort of that VIP shopping time from 12 to 1 before the doors actually
it was
opened.
So nice.
It was so nice. But what happened was there were so many people that we ran into and wanted to chat with that I don't think we actually shopped during that first hour.
I think no.
We shopped from 1 to 3.
Yeah, you're right.
But that first hour, we were kind of casing the joint. Really.
Yeah, it was. But I have to say, it just felt really. It was very well organized.
Yes,
it was airy. The venue was really pretty, high ceilings.
Yeah.
It got darker for the later people, so it was more difficult. But when we were there, it was so great to see the yarns, the colors. We found it was really well organized.
India Untangled traditionally, this was its 5th year, and up until now, it's been held in Kingston at the Best Western. And I don't know if you remember us talking about this, and you must have heard from many other podcasters and people that had the chance to go. It was a zoo. It was really, really crazy.
It was sort of, I think it was almost worse than Vogue Live Knitting because it was smaller.
A bit smaller, and it was a bit of a free-for-all, and people are a little...
jockeying for yarn.
Yeah, so it was stressful. It was hot, and it was just stressful shopping. So they completely revamped the organization. They moved to a bigger venue, and they did this staggered entry, based on ticket you sort of bought for your 2-hour block. And I thought it worked beautifully.
Yeah, from our perspective, it seemed to go well. I know we spoke to people who came out later tickets, and it was a little darker, so they said that the lighting wasn't as great, and some of them said too some of the products they were looking for were sold out.
Yeah.
So it's like there's good and bad, but at the same time,
you got to get on that India Untangled mailing list so you get the notification
right
when those
away.
Tickets go on sale.
But the atmosphere I found was a lot calmer.
Yeah.
You could chat with people,
and there was some concern that maybe the 2 hours wouldn't be enough. It's like, oh my God, a 2-hour block, and you have to move fast. But I think it's about 30 vendors.
Yeah, it was enough.
Really, and usually you have an idea of what you want. I felt like 2 hours was really enough to see everything. We walked around a few times.
Yeah.
And I think every time we walked around, we picked up something new. But it was enough so that by the time, there was a timer on the wall and it was counting down to when your time was out. And
Knitters got to be controlled,
and they pushed you out one door as they let other people in the other
door. They're like, half an hour left. You're like, okay.
So I have to say, I really enjoyed the whole experience this year. So kudos to Lisa Chemoff of India Untangled for organizing a great event.
Yeah, that was really nice. So we had fun there, and we picked up some things that we're going to show you in a couple of minutes. And then that was the day that we went for drinks after with
so we met
Chelsea,
Christina and Miriam.
I keep calling her Chelsea. Christina
of Chelsea Pearls and Kathy and Heather of the Knot House, and we met.
And Christy and Danny were with us?
Yeah, Christy.
Was Danny? No, not Danny. Was Alyssa, I think.
Oh, Alyssa.
Alyssa was
Christy Glass's friend, Alyssa. Yeah, so she joined us as well. So we had a great chat for a few hours, and then Christy was kind enough to host us again this year.
How fortunate.
And yes, we're very fortunate that we don't have to worry about that whole, oh my God, we got to book something, book something. But and we had planned to book something actually because we had hoped to bring down some more staff members this year, and timing.
We're just so last minute. It's like our big joke was we're fear of commitment, you know?
Exactly. And so when it wound up just being Lisa and I and Francoise again, we took Christy up on her offer of letting us stay there, and it was just such a great. I mean, she just provides such a soft place to land after the chaos of the days of being at at Indian Tangled or on the
podcast
at Rhinebeck, which is just so busy. So it was just nice in the evenings, and Amy of Knit Collage was staying with her as well, and Lizzie from the Mermaid's Pearl, who we hadn't met before, and this is it looks like a great store on Rhode Island. So I encourage you to go and check out Lizzie's Instagram page, which is beautiful. She does all kinds of very of the moment patterns, and
it's fun because we get Amy, who like runs her own yarn business, versus Lizzie, who has her shop, and we have a shop, and then Christy, who works on more the creative side. So it's just really fun to share our experiences.
So it was nice to just have that whole, and we didn't just talk.
No, we talked all kinds of stuff, women's issues and family and kids. It was really fun. And it was nice too this year. It's so funny because last year when we went, Francoise was like a bit overwhelmed, and she was like, oh, I'll let you guys do your thing. But this year she hung around with us.
She was really, and actually so many people knew who she was, which was great.
It was nice.
Oh, you're Francoise,
So she stuck it out, and because she's a little more on the shy side, so she said to herself, no, this year I'm going to try to like put myself out there a bit. So that was
all
good.
On the shy side. So if we have to do it, she has to stick with us.
Exactly. And then we had a great we were invited to this breakfast hosted by Blueprint
on the Saturday morning.
And it was Tanya, a singer, who organized it. So she's a consultant with Blueprint, and it was such a beautiful breakfast.
It was a beautiful. I think last year we remember last year we went to the Hill, or went to Rhinebeck, and we somehow didn't manage to have breakfast, or
and I bought something and I left it at the restaurant.
So then we were just exhausted and hungry, and the line was for so long that we just
had a pretzel, I think.
So this was just a completely different experience because we had this like very healthy, delicious breakfast. We were well caffeinated, so we arrived at the New York Sheep and Wool Festival completely. I felt ready.
I know, and the breakfast was just so lovely, and Tanya was just so welcoming, and we got goodie bags, and they even had like rain ponchos in their swag bags,
mitten, those
hand
hot
warmers.
Shots, and it was a very thoughtful little swag bag,
and water bottles, and that's another thing too. We're dehydrated totally last year, and then some yarn and a pattern, and I mean we felt like little mini celebrities, It was really sweet.
It was
and
fun.
Just the way she decorated the restaurant, which was really lovely, and it was so funny because at the end the waiters and waitresses came around with little containers if we wanted to take some stuff with us. I'm like, it's like an Italian wedding, They leave you little bags for your doggy bag. So we grabbed some fruit and some biscottis.
It was, thank God too, because when we rolled off the hill at 5, I just went straight for my little doggy bag in the car.
So we want to thank her. We had a really lovely breakfast, and it was lovely to meet her.
Yeah, so I think we got to the festival around 11?
Yeah,
10:30 or 11
some 10:30 or so. Nice as soon as we got in, we started meeting people who recognized us, and even before when we were getting our coffee, it was pretty funny.
Because you guys ran into some people in the town of Rhinebeck.
Yeah, and who were there?
I was waiting in the car.
She was waiting in the car. You were actually doing some Instagramming.
Oh, I was Instagramming. That was it.
And Francoise and I went to get
the
coffees.
coffee run. Yeah.
So it was nice to again walk around. It was. I think we felt a little more at ease this time, Because last year we were a little bit more
to expect.
Yeah, and we had all our little giveaways, and we weren't shy to give them away this time.
Yeah. And we give them to anyone who would. So that's from India.
Yeah, but this was a little tag that we had. It's called "What Happens at Rhinebeck Stays at Rhinebeck." So it's kind of we had talked about on our last podcast. We did ones about the LYS.
Yes, exactly. So these ones were project bag tags. Yeah. Exactly.
So we were excited. So we weren't shy this time, and we actually it was pretty good. We had like enough for everybody we met. So so it was, and then went to the Podcaster Hill.
Yes, at I think it was 1 or 2. We missed the Ravelry meetup, which I really regret.
Yeah, next year we'll get ourselves together.
Exactly. we have to. I still haven't had a cider donut, so
I know. Well, we were in line with Cecilia.
Yeah.
And she's like, come, wait in line. We're like, oh, but it was so slow and so
I looked at the line a couple of times, and every time I was just like, I'm not prepared to stand in the line. But you know, somebody reflected the other day that actually standing in that line, it was a podcast I was watching, I don't remember who it was, that standing in that line is actually part of the fun because you meet so many people just standing in line, you know, you strike up conversations. And so I guess standing in line at Rhinebeck for anything is always
because
fun.
Knitters are talkers.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they love to socialize
and they stroke
and
each
talk.
other.
And then you see people walking by and then
Yeah.
you stop them. Well, I was in line with Cecilia for about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And because I was looking for Melissa and Françoise and we got separated. And so I was like enjoying myself. I'm like, oh, I better go find my gang, you know. So it was a fun day, but it was, we met so many amazing people.
So many amazing
from everywhere.
people.
Like people come to Rhinebeck from
Everywhere.
like all over the States for sure, like Texas and I mean Connecticut's not
Australia.
that far. There was somebody from Australia.
Skein Sisters Yarn Story, and I'm not sure. Is it Melbourne, Australia? She's in. We met her on the Podcaster Hill, and I was like, wow. Oh, and Kate from Hawthorne Cottage Crafts.
Yes, from Ireland.
And anyway, we met so many people, and if we start listing them, we're going to forget somebody.
And then we're going to feel badly.
Yes, exactly.
And then it's nice because we met people who we had met at EYF last year, and then people we met at Vogue Knitting Live, and then TNA. So it's kind of nice. You start developing this network where you start seeing people, you know, at different
these
shows.
events repeatedly. Exactly.
So we just really want to thank everybody, and people were not shy to come up and say hi to us, which was
and
really
it was so nice because some people said, you said not to be shy.
I know. There still were some people though after who commented that they were shy, but even like when we were not at Rhinebeck, like when we were like in the town or even coming home at a rest stop, you know, so it was really funny.
Right. That's true.
It was really, really fun to meet up with everybody. And
and
then Sunday was a bit cooler.
Sunday was freezing,
It
Lisa.
was freezing.
It was freezing.
Yes.
So we were bundled up. And we weren't there that long. In fact, we debated whether or not even we were going to go back
like
on
we
the
did
Sunday.
last year.
Exactly.
Well, before we went to bed, we said we weren't going back.
Yeah. And then we got up and we're like, yeah, of course we're going.
So
we just went for a few hours. But we always know we have to hit the road by 2 in order to get home at a decent time. So
I drove this time. Everyone thought Françoise drove, but since Françoise drove the whole time last year, I was like, okay, I can suck it up and drive. So I did the driving.
It's my turn next year.
We're renting a car next year for Melissa.
Exactly. I don't drive Lisa's car because it's standard, and I don't drive standard. So I get to knit. Although you
had to undo what you knit.
No, and I did not have classic mistake, right? I didn't have a project actually cast on for the drive. I was trying to cast on a project in black with provisional cast-ons and
it wasn't like an easy car knitting.
No, it was not an easy. I wasn't on any kind of roll, so I actually didn't get any knitting done that I was able to.
And I had an ulterior motive because Françoise is knitting a sample that I designed. So I'm like, it's okay, I'll drive, Françoise.
Yeah, you just keep knitting. Françoise, you're not knitting. Françoise, stop eating. Knit.
Oh, I see that's a different project you're working on here, Françoise. So
that's funny.
Yeah, so I think that's, we just really want to say how much we appreciate everyone and how much fun it is.
It's just so nice to get that feed. We talk into a camera, but when we are at an event like that and people can speak to us directly and we can interact and just talk about anything really, that in-person connection is just so it's wonderful, you know? And so it gives you a sense of who's actually watching you when you're doing
and you have people from all walks of life, but what joins you together is knitting, and there's not many, when you have a hobby like that, it's you usually tend to be friends with the people you work with or that you study or in the same field. Like teachers, I don't know, I seem to every time I go somewhere it's always teachers that I'm involved with, so it's kind of nice, brings people together from different walks of life. So so we just want to thank everybody, and
we were hopeless about taking pictures,
we
taking
weren't
video.
that good.
We did nothing. And there are a few podcasters out there. Selma of Big Little Knits. Selma is from Ottawa, and I watched her sort of Rhinebeck wrap up the other day, and she had some great footage at the end of just what the experience is like walking around Rhinebeck, and also the Podcaster Hill, and just seeing everybody in their handmade knits. Is that's part of the fun. That's a huge part of the fun. And for us, I think Rhinebeck is, we didn't really buy that much this year, right?
We didn't.
So it's really about just walking around, soaking up the atmosphere, the people the conversations that happen and you know.
And the variety, because sometimes people expect it to be more like hand-dyed, like as if they'd go to Vogue Live Knitting or a yarn shop, but that's not really the spirit of Rhinebeck. There is some of that, and there are books and there are notions and accessories, and there's sheep and there's byproducts and there's soaps and sheep skins. There's all kinds of stuff. So I think what's nice about a festival like Rhinebeck is that it brings
together
everything.
Yeah.
It's not just about the next hand-dyed yarn,
Yeah.
So I think that's what's nice about it.
That's why I say, to have that balance of Indian Tangled and
Rhinebeck. And I think it's a fun thing for people to go to. I think I don't know. It's if you can make it happen in your life.
One
I
time
think
in
it's
your
a fun
life,
thing.
put it on your bucket list. We were really sorry this year not to get to Needles Up. We were there last year, and it was such a nice event. I think it's only about maybe 7 or 8 vendors, and this year it was actually held at the Best Western in Kingston, where Indian Tangled has been previously. And I wanted to go and see Sue and Chelsea of Legacy Knits, and I wanted to see Amy Beth there and buy one of her bags, but just the timing, and by the time we got out of Indian Tangled, it just didn't seem possible. So we didn't make it over there, but we hear it was a great event, and we will definitely make a point of going next year, right? Yes, exactly.
So that's that. And then going back to Indian Tangled, so we had talked about in our subscriber giveaway. So we made it to our 10,000 subscribers. Yes. Thank you. And we had over 1,500 entries, which was amazing.
Amazing. Everybody telling us what their favorite thing to knit was. So we have gone through all of those. We did our random comment picker, and we came up with our 4 winners. So should we announce who they are?
So two of them are actually from Montreal, and they've already contacted us. Stephanie D from Montreal and Debbie Branco. So we already have their contact information. Actually, I think one of them we're going to mail, and the other one's going to come in store to pick it up. And then we still have 2 people, Jennifer Robbins and Lynn Martin, who haven't contacted us. So we're not too sure where they're from. I believe, Melissa, you put a message right at the top of the YouTube. I put a
message on YouTube. I believe also on the Ravelry discussion forum. If we haven't heard from people by the time we air our next podcast, then I think that we
might have to pick somebody else. So hopefully Lynn Martin and Jennifer Robbins will contact us. And congratulations. So we'll show you what we bought at Indian Tangled.
Exactly. So the first thing, as soon as we walked in the door, we saw these Indian Tangled exclusive rain shadow kits. The pattern is by Melanie Berg, and it includes 3 skeins of La Bien-Aimée yarn, you guys, and that was the Indian Tangled colorway.
So
I guess both of them were Indian Tangled.
So I bought. This is what I bought.
Did you buy? Did you buy one of each?
I bought
yourself?
2. I bought
like that.
I think I bought like that.
So the winners are just going to be surprised about which prize they get. The next thing was
an exclusive
limited edition knitter's backpack. So I think these are sold out everywhere now. So Ritual Dyes came out with their holiday
with a nice rose gold. We got one for Françoise, and she looks so chic wearing it.
It's kind of a Bordeaux colorway.
It is.
Really
I was
nice, and I love the rose gold leather.
I hummed in hot, and I decided not to. Then we go buy again. Melissa's like, "So, what about that backpack?" I'm like, "Melissa, I'm trying to be good."
You were good. You resisted because the last thing we need is more
bags, because you're going to see why.
Yes, exactly.
In a moment. So that's our number 2.
And then I went to Hugh Loco because I wanted to pick up one of the Grocery Girls Knit 2 Together Sock Club kits for one of the winners. And I met Nicole of Hugh Loco, who I'd never met in person before. And she was so nice. She said, I said, well, which one do you recommend? Which one's been most popular? And she goes, well, which one do you like? And I think I said, I liked this one. And she said, I said, but I couldn't decide. It was these 2. And she said, well, how about you take one and I donate the other one for the winner. So that was
super
really nice.
Yes.
So thank you, Nicole, for donating. So maybe we'll give the winner a choice of one of these. And the other one we're going to keep. But I know that there were 6 these kits, 6 colorways made all together for the sock club, for the Grocery Girl Sock Club. All 6 are listed on the back of the label, but I don't know which ones correspond to these. So
there's a bluey green one and more like a pinky brown.
I love the taupey beige on that coordinating skein. And then this one. So some lucky winner will get that, and with it they are getting a bottle of soak, as well as the last remaining
what happens at Rhinebeck stays at Rhinebeck tag
Yes,
with the coupon.
A coupon code for 50% off a web order.
And then we had one more, which wasn't
yes.
from Rhinebeck,
This
was
one
from
we
EYF.
actually bought last year at EYF.
Yeah, this for you. So this is mitten pattern.
Yeah, from Isolde, by Isolde. And it's called Millette. And these are the Rauma colorways that we had purchased for that.
Yeah.
So
it's beautiful. I just wanted to show the
I really,
top
really
here.
want to knit those. Anyway, so the fourth, I think that was all four, right?
Yeah,
Lise?
one,
Okay.
the book, 1, 2, 3, and the kit.
And okay.
So
perfect.
we got our shopping yayas up by shopping for other people. But you did pick yourself up something also at India Untangled. So we each got one thing from India Untangled.
Yes. So as soon as right after the India Untangled sort of exclusives booth, I think there was one more, and then there was the Viola booth. And Viola's booth caught my eye as soon as I walked in because it just speaks to my heart. All the colors and
when we first started knitting, I bought you.
Yes, that's true. One of the very first hand-dyed yarns I ever had was 2 skeins of Viola.
Yes, I forget which base it was, but I think I bought it at the Purple Pearl in Toronto.
I feel like it had silk in it.
I was just going to say, I think it was merino silk.
It was a bit like a lazy DK.
And it was kind of like this color,
I think. Like this color, exactly. I have to dig that up because I don't think I ever knit with them.
No, I don't think so. It's in your stash
I just coveted
somewhere.
them in my stash. It was more gray. I remember
Yeah,
it was
you're
more
right.
gray.
Yeah. This is
anyway,
more taupey.
so
And, we met Emily, and we met Francesca, who's the marketing director for Pom Pom, and she's working with Emily, promoting her book, and they were just lovely.
So this is the Knits About Winter book by Emily Foden, who is Viola, the creator.
Can you just show the back?
Viola?
It's
yes.
like, don't you want to be these people who like just walk in the woods wearing all your beautiful hand knits?
Exactly. I want to be the person in this book.
Just everything. Like even the people working at the booth, they were all wearing those little hats.
They were wearing those. They
so
all
cute.
were wearing these hats. So Megan Fernandez of Pom Pom. So this is a book that's actually being put out by Pom Pom, but Emily is responsible for the designs, the photography, the illustrations, the writing, the styling, everything. So Emily is actually from Ontario. She's Canadian. And
hence the winter landscape.
That's right, exactly. And so we're really we have lots of copies of this book in store. I don't think we can sell it until November 17th. So we're really looking forward to making this available to you. Emily actually does not wholesale her yarns. So if you want her yarns specifically, then you are going to have to order them online. However, there is also a trunk show happening
in Montreal.
Yeah.
We were a bit disappointed because Francesca had approached us about possibly hosting some classes and workshops with Emily at our store, but we have such a small space.
Yeah.
And with our store hours, we were unable to make it work, and we were very disappointed.
I keep calling her Viola, but Emily's classes are quite long. They're 4-hour blocks, and so we couldn't make it happen around store hours, and the store is just too small to be able to accommodate a class and have the store open at the same time. So Celine of La Maison Tricotée is going to be hosting that as well.
Because she has a beautiful space where she can host events. So it's going to be in January, the beginning of January.
Exactly.
So you can check out La Maison Tricotée for more information.
Yeah, so Emily is going to be teaching there as well as selling some of her yarns and books as well. So.
And then speaking of things that we bought, what I bought was some Nightshades yarns. So you might have heard it was an amazing success. It was so nice to meet Nick and Sharon from Harrisville. And it was so funny because Nick was telling us that he came up with this idea. There was this concept to create this yarn, which is dark, and then it's all black with colors on top of it. And so they're all in nightshades. And his father was like, oh yeah, you could do that, but it's never going to fly.
Exactly.
Well, they sold out their whole stock that they had, and then they had people coming down their base out of New Hampshire. So no, that afternoon.
Oh, okay.
So we called them. We said, everything that's in the warehouse, throw it in the truck and bring it down. So they completely sold out of their whole shipment of nightshades. So they're in the process of making more.
Yeah.
So these are just 2 colors that I wanted to show you. And it's a DK weight yarn, but we feel that, again, it can be knit up quite nicely at a worsted. Yeah, there's the swatch that we've already knit up. Naomi knit that up for us.
So that's at 3 different weights, which are not going to translate well onto the
different
screen,
gauges.
But gauges, I mean.
So it's So it's a 22 stitch. It's a DK weight yarn, and it's 250 yards for 100 grams. But we really liked it at a worsted gauge. We find like a 20 stitch would be really, really nice. And we've got some ideas in mind, but we're waiting. The yarn is going to take about 5 to 8 weeks to produce because they have to produce a whole new batch. And then as soon as it's done, we've already placed our order, and they'll send it our way. So it's also a mixture. It's called American Cormo. So it's really a nice rustic yarn, but it has a really nice squishy feel.
And it's a woolen spun, so it has that nice loftiness to it.
Oh, and a really funny story is when we went into the booth and they had a really nice display and they had all the nightshades. And at first it all looks dark, but then you're like, oh, no, this one's blue, this one's green. And then I said, oh my God, Melissa, I said, look, they created a yarn just for us. It's amazing. And there was
somebody who was like, really?
That's fantastic.
Congratulations. You guys, you've arrived.
And then I was like, oh my God, no, we're not that important. Seriously.
They might as well have just called it the Melissa, right?
Exactly. So, of course, I bought the charcoal gray. The color is called the Static. And then, I went crazy and I bought Talk Radio. I bought some of this nice purple, I guess, purple aubergine.
I really regret not buying the one that had the green. It was called Insomnia.
Well, we're getting it.
I know we're getting it. But I want to knit it right now, Lise.
So
it's kind of an army green, olivey green undertone.
And there was a blue too that I like that I was debating. I think it was called Dashboard. Okay. So this is, it's so nice for us when we go to show, just for pleasure and other reasons. But then we find something to bring back. So we're bringing this, and we've ordered lots of it. So it's really a really lovely woolen spun yarn.
This booth was really nice because we also ran into. Actually, I stopped her because of her sweater.
Yes.
So I saw this woman working at the Harrisville booth, and she was wearing a Birkin, but it was the only time I've seen it done in 2 colors. Yeah. And it was cream. She had done it with the Harrisville Shetland yarn, which is a fingering sport weight yarn. And it was cream with just black, charcoaly black, the flowers.
And she cropped it too.
And it was cropped. I don't know if she had cropped the sleeves.
I think she cropped the sleeves
too.
Yeah. It was all cropped.
And it was stunning. And I was like, oh my God, I love your sweater. I have to do a Birkin just like that.
Yeah.
Because I've always looked at the Birkin, but it's colorful. It's flowers and it just never crossed my mind to just do a 2-color Birkin. Anyway, I took a picture of her, and then, we started talking, and it turns out that she actually is Whitney Hayward, who is the designer of the full collection for the Nightshades yarn line. I just
want to go get the shade card as you're chatting with.
Okay, and we also met at the booth as well. We met Layla Robb.
Yes.
So the 4 of us.
Yes. Chatted quite a while.
Yeah, had
like
a lot.
So
actually, I don't want to say we got stuck there. We had a very enjoyable conversation for about an hour, and we didn't want to leave. Right? We had to wrap things up. So
and Layla Robb is working with Quince now. Yeah. So I believe she's the creative director. She's sort of taking over for Pam Allen, who's moving on to other things. Into retirement slowly, and it's funny because I'm like, I know I've knit a lot of her patterns, but I couldn't remember when. And then after I was on, I'm like, I knit my Shaylin. I knit this, I knit that.
Layla Robb is a very prolific designer, and she's very quiet. So you don't. She's not like a presence on the scene, know, and so you don't have a face to a name a lot of the times. So anyway, it was great to meet her in person, both of them in person, and both those women are talented.
I know. We're like, oh my God, can we get them to work for us?
Yeah, right. We'll steal them away from Quince and
Harrisville, like seriously.
No, but they are between the photography. I think Whitney did all the photography for the Nightshades collection as well. Anyway, we were just so impressed by them as businesswomen and
creative people as well.
People that it was just a very inspiring conversation. So hopefully we'll see them. Actually, Lisa and I have signed up for a retreat in Portland, Maine in April next year, right? It's the Vogue Knitting Retreat with Hohi Locatelli and Vera Velimaki, and I think Bristol Ivy as well. Anyway, so we will definitely try and get together with Layla when we're there.
And also we're going to drive by Harrisville, New Hampshire.
Yes, and we'll go and visit them.
So they were so nice. They're like, come by and visit anytime. And we do a lot of camping in that area, Sean, Jean-Luc and I. So we're like, another yarn destination in New Hampshire. So all in all, it was fantastic. It was great. New finds for the store, fun giveaways, and on to the fall knitting season now.
That's right.
So we've got lots of...
oh my gosh, I feel like we should wrap up the chit chat and get into
I know.
our,
It's like we're getting good at this chit chat thing, Liz.
Yeah.
So, so finished objects, I guess. We talked a little bit about. So I guess I can show. I did a very simple... so I guess I just want to take a little opportunity because I Instagrammed it that... I had to stop knitting for 2 weeks because I've had complications from my wrist injury that has gone into my fingers, my palm, my forearm, and now my elbow. So I know many of you are so sweet in giving me advice and things to do.
She's doing it all.
I'm doing it all. So I've got my acupuncture, my osteo, my physio, my homeopath. I'm working on herbs. I'm working on remedies. I'm working on the psychological all issues. So so it's a bit difficult. So for 2 weeks I didn't knit.
Yeah.
And I started knitting and I was, I'm feeling better. So then last night I knit and then the pain came back. So it's a very sad time for me because on
it's
two
knitting
fronts.
season.
It's knitting season. And I have to say, when I didn't knit for 2 weeks, I was going crazy. I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Okay, calm down. What else can you do? Oh, I can read more. I can draw more. I can walk more.
Yeah.
So anyway, so
you're easing into it.
But at the same time too, as a store owner and with our podcast and our Instagram, wanting to inspire and wanting to show people different things to knit, and me too wanting to knit. And the things I like to knit are like long. Like I've got 2 shawls in the progress.
They're miles of stockinette. Yeah.
So it's hard. It's a hard time for me. So I know other people have much worse situations than I have. But in terms of the knitting front, it's difficult. But just before I took my stop, I decided to knit myself an On the Sea Train hat because I was in the store and I'm like, oh, this is a nice hat. Why don't I have one for myself?
I know.
So, which is a hat I designed. So it's
cute.
Fun.
I like this hat.
Yeah, it's so cute. So and it's very warm. So it's 1 skein of Woolfolk Far mixed with Silk Cloud. Shibui Silk Cloud. Now, remember when I was on our first podcast, I showed the original.
I'm just so glad that it's you talking about stranding with Silk Cloud.
I know. I don't often do it.
Usually me.
I'm more of like a structured kind of person, but every once in a while I get a bit of an influence. So I decided to do that. And when I showed about it the first podcast, remember I only had this much yarn left? Remember the whole? Well, I had a little bit more with this.
Oh, so I guess it must have just been a lighter weight skein.
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe, I think I knit this a couple of rows less.
Maybe, yeah.
So anyway, so it's a free pattern on our Ravelry project page. So I did a black one. And then I was like, I also have a matching cowl. On the Sea Train has a matching cowl. So this one is done with Woolfolk, like I said, Far. You can get the free patterns on our website.
And Silk Cloud, you guys.
And Silk Cloud, I'm sorry. And anyways, I can't really knit the cowl right now, but it would be a nice combination.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I just can't knit it because I have to take a little break.
Well, you have to commission someone to knit it for you.
Yeah, for me. So I have to say it's very warm and light, and I love it. So there you go. So that's my one finished object.
So my finished object is what I'm wearing. You guys, I cast on and finished the No Frills sweater by Petite Knit. Yes, and actually this was fun because it was the first time that I've ever knit the sleeves first.
Yeah, good for you.
So I got past the yoke, I split, I knit my sleeves, and I knit them nice and long. I love it. It's the coziest, most comfortable sweater. It's right. You have a tunic underneath, but this is right against your skin, though. Yes, of course. It's so I knit it with the Knitting It Up Gray Space, which is the merino cashmere silk yarn that Annie of Knitting It Up has developed for us, and it's in the Wicked Games colorway. And I stranded it with Shibui Silk Cloud, of course, in the Bordeaux colorway, and it is divine. I knit the medium, and I think I used three skeins of the Grace and 4 of the Silk Cloud. I've still got some left over. The only thing I'm not happy about is that I did do a bit of a ribbed bottom before I cast off. Not the full rib that it calls for, but just a bit of rib before I cast off. I cast off too tight, and I really just decided that I'm just not that kind of, I just don't want the rib at the bottom. So I think what I'll do is I'll just pull back and knit it a bit longer. I also want to increase the length a little bit, and then and just do my regular rolled hem button. So anyway, I'm very happy with it.
The color's
amazing. An easy pattern. I mean,
easy, no frills.
It's no frills. There's no embellishment. It's all about the yarn. The yarn was just beautiful.
But that's a style now. It's like a simple kind of throwback to the 80s.
I think I need something on my neck here. I feel like I need some sort of
shawl.
But overall, I'm just happy with how incredibly soft and comfortable and luxurious.
Yeah, and very easy to wear, right?
Yeah,
no fuss.
I'm just wearing it with jeans and a tunic. I'll wear it with my dresses that I've just made, and easy.
Yeah,
easy. So totally happy with that.
Good. And I actually didn't knit this, but so this talking about our dye when Melissa last time talked about dyeing things black. So I had this shawl, and it's called the Rivontuli, and the designer of the shawl is Anne M. So I knit this quite a while ago in Freya. No, not Freya. Connie. Effect Garn Connie. And it's so funny because when we got that yarn, we're like, oh my God, it's so scratchy. No one's ever going to buy it. And here we are all about
it now.
So this is it. So then I said, oh, okay, I'm going to dye this black because at the time I love the color. But anyways, it's, me. It's just not happening. So I dyed it black. However,
but it didn't come out black.
It didn't come out black. And I followed the instructions and I put vinegar and I put all of them out right in the dye. But look at that. It came out blue and like a blacky green. So Melissa, you want to hold this up?
It's nightshades, Lise.
It's nightshades, exactly. So you can see where the cream, the lighter cream, it turned out navy blue, and then the more browny gold turned out a gray black. However,
green, green.
Yeah, it's like a greeny black.
Yeah.
However, I wear black and blue.
There you go.
So it worked out perfectly. So just to show you, sometimes it won't.
You don't always know what you're going to get. It's crazy though, because it's amazing how 4 things I've knit now, dyed black, all came out jet black with no variation. So it's just
yours,
something
you also,
about the yarn.
Yeah, and you didn't have a variegated yarn, right? This is like a color changing.
Well, I had tonal. I didn't have color changing.
No, this is color changing.
Yeah.
So anyway, I got myself a project without knitting it.
There you go.
Pretty darn good.
Yeah, something that you weren't wearing, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now it's going to take me forever to fix
extend
myself.
the wearability of your knits by changing your color palette. So I knit this one, I think before we went to Rhinebeck, right, Lise?
I believe so.
So this is the Tamatic, I think. Yes. Yeah, Tamatic hat by Shannon Cook, and I loved it as soon as I saw it on Ravelry. I think I knit it within a few days of it being released. Yeah. And we don't carry the yarn. I think it was knit with Hinterland, something called Hinterland, which is from British Columbia. Beautiful natural yarns, I think, are only sold with, they only come in natural colors. But we have we're stocking this Moonshine Chunky, which, do you remember what the composition of it is, Lise?
I thought it was 100%. We don't have it. Let me go get a
It's, it's a nice 14-stitch gauge, and it just seemed like it would be, it's a single ply. And I thought it would be perfect for the hat. So
baby alpaca and
silk baby alpaca.
So it's 40% alpaca, 40% wool, 20% silk.
Oh, but that's why it's so
this yarn is being discontinued, unfortunately. So this is your only opportunity to get it because we won't be able to reorder.
We just restocked it before it was due to go.
It's a nice single ply, a little bit thick and thin, I would say.
It knits up pretty consistently, I would say.
Though if I look at the skein, it shows a little bit, just very, but it doesn't look thick and thin.
Yeah, I didn't notice that so much while I was knitting. Anyway, it was a very enjoyable, super quick knit. I cast on while my son was at Taekwondo, and it's just getting blown out a bit there. And
it was done by the end.
No, it wasn't. It was done the next morning, but pretty much. It's seriously, it's a couple of hours. So when you're knitting a hat, and then we topped it with these new pom-poms we have from Leva Fur, and
they're fake fur.
They're faux fur.
But
they look great, don't they?
They look totally real.
I mean, they're
nice.
They keep their shape. They're not floppy. They really look real.
Yeah, super nice.
And they're
quality.
Soft. They don't have that synthetic squeaky feel.
Yeah. They're really nice quality.
Yeah. So again, I highly recommend both the pattern and the yarn for that. Again, Shannon Cook, Tamatic. So that'll be in our show notes.
That one. So I just keep coming up with finished objects. Isn't that incredible? So these are actually mitts mitten liner. So it's Mona Schmidt, who works for us. So she created this pattern. It's available on Ravelry. Yeah. And they're amazing liners. So I wear these now in the fall, in the spring. And then what I do is I have these big felted mitts. And it's really cold. I put them inside. So right now I can wear them alone. And I had a hole in it. So I asked Mona if her present came with darning services. And she so kindly, it was such a big hole. God knows how I got that hole. That she made a little patch. Isn't that hilarious? So this one, I have to say, I had 2 holes. And this is like perfection. Like, you can't even tell where she darned that. She's just like magic. And She says, I couldn't fix this. I had to do a patch.
Yes.
Look how cute that little patch is. I feel like
she Instagrammed it, and she was actually inspired. I actually bought this book at Rhinebeck, and I think I bought 3 books, and this was one of them.
And we met the author and the photographer
at the Blueprint breakfast. And anyway, so as soon as we got to Rhinebeck, we rushed over to the Merritt Books booth and picked up that. And Mona had also, I think she must have pre-ordered it, and so she had it delivered while we were, while we were away. And she used it to create that little patch, because it has all kinds of
how to mend,
basically mend anything, but in a really sort of beautiful, artistic visible, artistic way. So, what does it say? Stitch, patch, and repair your favorite denim and more. But it's like for patching anything. So as you can see, she knit a patch and then applied it.
So I'm really happy now. I can use my mitts. So these are Mona Schmidt's mitten liners.
There you go.
Okay, and then you have another hat.
Yes. So I think since our last podcast, we received a nice, healthy shipment of the Lichen and Lace Superwash worsted that we were waiting for. And it's so beautiful. So everything from the variegateds and the sort of tonals to more solids. Yeah. Such a pretty natural, nature-inspired palette, right? Oops. There we go. And so I just pulled one of the beautiful skeins. What was this one called? Do you remember, Lisa?
The color?
Yeah. Is it orchid?
Or not sweet pea?
No, sweet pea.
Is it sweet pea?
I think it's sweet pea. Yes. And I used the Lusso, Lang Lusso, which is more of a DK weight sort of blend
and it's
of mohair, alpaca, merino, and silk.
It has a different feel than the silk plaid.
It still has that halo, but maybe not
it's a bit more exact, and it's not as shiny. It's a little bit more muted than the silk plaid.
And I'm not at all self-conscious about talking about the mohair halo, despite Christy Glass's fantastic Halloween video where she took the piss out of my.
But you know what? You've been like that since I met you.
Exactly.
You've been about the halo
I'm totally
since I met you.
owning it. I am owning my Shibuya Silk Cloud mohair halo. Anyway, so this was you guys. It doesn't get quicker in terms of knitting a hat. 5 millimeter, 5.5 millimeter, I think. You're done in no time. And so again, this is another one of those Love of Fur pom-poms in the wine colorway. I think we are now sold out of the pink Lang Lusso.
Okay.
But there's so many great combinations. So just look online and grab, a skein of Lichen and Lace Superwash worsted.
And there's other mohairs too you can choose.
Or if you've got, mohair left over in your stash from another project.
Silk Haze, Marsh Mohair, Hedgehog. There's lots of mohair.
The gauge of this pattern is pretty forgiving. So even if you used a a worsted with a mohair or an Aran with a mohair, or it's going to work. Yeah, it's going to work.
So if we want to continue on to our store samples, so I guess we're in hat territory because
it's hat season.
So this is Winter's Fern, and this is Catherine who knit this. Catherine is one of our consultants, and that was really fun. It was her first colorwork project, so we were so proud of her. She was a little bit nervous, but we're like, she was totally nervous, you can do it.
It was. I just have to, because she's so proud. I want to show her floats because they're perfect. She had such fun. She
knit this. She knit the large one. Françoise had knitted it too. She did a smaller one, so she knit a large one.
This fits a man.
It fits a man. Her husband loves it, and he actually wants one for himself. So it's really a unisex pattern.
100%.
And you can do the large for someone who has a larger head, or the
Did you pull some?
Size.
Oh, you pulled some colors.
So I pulled some different.
Ones.
I just kind of pulled some darker colors. So it's actually 3 skeins of wool stock, and wool stock is nice because it's a rustic yarn, 100% wool, not machine washable, but it has a little bit more of a softness to it.
It's really soft.
So if you want something darker, you can go with these darker colors, or you can add in the burgundy.
I just wanted to see what
Highland
sheep
wool.
It was. Oh, it just says Highland wool. Yeah.
And so you can pick 3 of your favorite colors and put those together, and make your hat. So, and it's really it's a great beginner project.
I think you can go high contrast, low contrast. It's,
I just wanted to see if you can see a little bit of the texture.
Okay, one more hat. I think this is our last hat.
Yeah, I think this is our last hat, yes.
So this is the Kobuk hat. Okay, let's see if we can get a little closer. It's got reverse, through the back loop knitting, ribbing.
Ribbing.
What is that called?
It's called twisted rib.
Twisted rib. It's got some twisted rib. It's got its baubles and a little bit of seed stitch. It's another sort of inspiring pattern from Caitlin Hunter. It's one of her lesser known ones, although it seems to be gaining traction because I see a lot of people knitting kobooks. And I knit this last year actually for my sister in a wine color. I think I had used the Arbor. The
Brooklyn
Arbor
Tweed.
from Brooklyn Tweed with some Kid Silk. So this one is actually knit with our Americana DK. That's from Artfill, and it's in the Pebbles colorway with a skein of
Kid Silk Haze.
Kid Silk Haze this time, Rowan Kid Silk Haze in cream.
It's really nice.
I think it's beautiful.
It's nice because it's has some variegation in there, but it's quite subtle.
Yeah, and look at the lava fur.
Yeah, oh my God, we're all into these lava fur. We just placed another order, so should be arriving shortly.
I just wanted to show how these are attached. Actually, they have two long ribbons that come off the center of them, and then you just pull through and tie. You can tie a little knot and then a bow, and then they're just easily removed for washing. If you want when you need to wash your hat.
Yeah, it's a whole new thing now. The past few seasons, right?
Removable pom poms.
Yeah, removable
and then
pom-poms.
Interchange them on your hats. I'll stop shaking the pom poms now.
Shake. So the next sample we have. So this is actually we've decided to reinvent some of our patterns. So this is done in Garthenor Beacons, which is a sport weight yarn. And it's sort of a gray blues. So we have Purbeck, Cadet, and Marmalade as the accent. So we just thought it was sort of unexpected to put this orange in there. And of course, Gigi made it. Was like, she goes, but I'm going to substitute the blue for the orange. Exactly.
Yeah, so hers going to be predominantly orange, I think.
So it's basically a sail in the form of a sail. It starts here, and then you knit stripes. And again, this is sort of like me. I got bored of my stripes, and that's why I added another color. So Giovanna actually knit this. She's one of our teachers here. She knit this version for us. I knit the original one in Pashmina by Madeline Tosh.
And it was called L'Escargot Bleu because your dominant color was, or your accent color was blue.
It was blue, one, right? and when Melissa, you had photographed it all rolled up, I'm like, oh my God, that's like a snail. So that's why we called it that. So
blue snail.
There's still some blue in here, so we decided to keep the name. But the orange is just so nice and punchy. And the Garthenor Beacons knit up is lovely. The stitch definition is beautiful. It's really, really beautiful, and it's just such a nice, even texture.
I know. It's a beautiful knitting job. Giovanna did
she did wonderful job, and it's just one of these really. It doesn't have that woolly feel because it's not a woolen spun yarn. It's a worsted spun yarn.
Yeah,
so it has a different.
It has a woolly feel, but it's but totally different.
Yes. Like it's not.
How would we describe it?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how it's like a soft.
It's like tailored woolly wool.
I feel like yes, exactly. Like exactly like structured, tailored. So what we decided to do is we're getting a little better with the kit things, right, Melissa?
Yes.
So we've decided to put together kits. So this is kits for our colorway. So we used 3 of each of the blues and 2 marmalades. So in total it's 8 skeins. So if you like the colors we chose, you can buy the kits. If you would prefer your own color, well, you can buy it a la carte.
A la carte.
So
we have loads of colors in stock.
We have loads
we've
of
just
colors.
Been restocked in all of them. So
yes,
there should be lots of options.
Lots to choose for. So you choose your 2 main is 3 of each, and then 2 of your accent, and that's Garthenor Beacons.
Okay, so speaking of reinventing our patterns that we've designed previously, I had a pattern a few years ago now called the Chevron Cloud, and it was knit in silver, like silvery grays. It was maidenhair and silk cloud. I think
maidenhair from Handmaiden and silk cloud in ash.
And so when we received our gray space from Annie of Knitting It Up a couple weeks ago, really it wasn't that long ago. It's amazing how quickly
Naomi was really
this
quick on
us.
this one.
We noticed that the color Risen, which is the one that's kind of glowing there, was almost identical to the mohair from the March mohair from Lichen and Lace, and I don't know what the color is called. Do you, Lise?
It's on our Ravelry page.
Here it is, amber. So here are the...
And we've gotten our stock. It should be up by the time this goes up.
Yeah,
but
we've just got to restock.
We just got a restock of the Marsh mohair.
But look at those. They're just meant to go together, right?
They certainly are.
So Naomi cast on for us, and it is so gorgeous. It just shimmers and glows, and yes, it's full of mohair. It's glorious. So it's
but it's not stranded with mohair. It's interchanged.
It's alternated, exactly. So this is a nice, easy, repetitive pattern. It's sort of based on the chevron baby blanket that we designed as well, in terms of that chevron repeat, but it's just interspersed with stockinette and garter.
And she ended up making some modifications because she thought that she changed the gauge, and so she thought it would be smaller, so she added a couple of stitches. All the modifications on our Ravelry project page. However,
it wound up being a little bit wider than our original. After blocking, it wound up being a little bit wider than the original, and so she wonders if she had just stuck to the original and hadn't added the extra stitches, if one skein of each would have been enough. So just to show you, can you hold that up, please? So we'll start over there. Keep going. Up until right here. Yeah,
let me put this up so we can.
Okay, so up until about right here, where she put the marker, is one skein of each. That'll take you to one skein of each. So there was still marsh mohair left. So she wound up the second ball of the Knitting It Up gray space and just did the rest of it. I think if she hadn't necessarily modified to make this
one of each might have been okay.
Wider, one of each might have been enough to get a totally decently long scarf. So
you can check the and also if you buy two skeins and then say I'm not going to wind up the second and wait, and then you can return.
You can always return it,
or you can make a matching hat.
Exactly. So I think if you knit the pattern as written, one of each is probably enough. But if you want to make sure that you have enough to create the length you want, and you do want to make that mod of adding a couple of stitches to make it wider, then do buy two.
So I think this is our last store sample, Melissa.
Oh my God!
It's Big Bird's retiring. The man who plays Big Bird is retiring.
Totally neon. Look at that. Okay, so you guys, we ordered this hilariously fantastic yarn.
I'm gonna put this on
Amano, and it's called Yana XL. So it's not super bulky, you guys. It's way bigger than super bulky.
Yeah, it's called Jumbo.
I
think this is like Christy Glass. I mean, I feel like Christy Glass
she needs to be wearing this. Actually, Christy interviewed the designer a couple of weeks ago on her channel. Her name's Vanessa.
You gotta have chutzpah to wear this.
I think it's fantastic. Well, look, I think it's great. In fact, I'm knitting one in black.
My God,
that is so good.
Oh, look at these pom-poms. So this was Valentine. She's one of our newest consultants.
Yeah, so she knit it up in a day.
Yeah,
of course.
I mean, look at these pom-poms.
So it's 20 millimeter needles it calls for. I think she used 25 actually because to get the gauge.
Yeah, she's tighter.
Yeah. So
this is
it takes 4 skeins. It's so good.
Seriously.
So where is our XL? So it comes in a lot of.
So it's called Yana XL by Amano. It's really soft.
It is. It's merino.
Okay, I'm trying to.
No, it's not. It's fine Highland wool. I'm telling lies. And it comes in. We have sort of a camel color, black. It comes in the neutrals, but then it also comes in these great.
I feel like I'm wearing a blanket.
Aren't you warm?
I know. Like if you're going to a football game, you got your pom-pom.
I think that it's totally runway worthy. I think it's fantastic.
It is. Look at that. You got your cheerleader.
Yeah.
Yay. Let's go. Okay.
Do it in a team color.
So for those of you who need something a little bit more modest, we have the Yana.
Just the
plain old Yana.
And the Yana is a super bulky. Which looks tiny now.
I know. It looks like baby.
It looks
so that's like your Lana Grande, your Cascade Magnum, your spun... What's that? We keep making not serendipity, spontaneous.
Yes. Exactly. And so actually I took the yarn home to knit this up this weekend and then I kind of forgot about it actually, so I'm going to do it. I found this cowl last week on Ravelry and it's called the Durand cowl and it will take less than one skein or just one skein.
By Tara Lynn Morrison.
And I just think it's so cool. So
yes, it is very cool.
It's just like a tube and then on a diagonal it has some fringe attached. So I'm interested to see how that looks once it's knit up. So I think I'm gonna do.
I think it's very runway worthy as well. Too. Definitely. Yeah. Sometimes you just need to make a statement out there.
Oh, because we haven't talked about the BFL.
No, we haven't talked about that because Okay, so Annie has been working on
store.
Exactly. So it's called MTL BFL, so MTL for Montreal, BFL for Blueface Leicester, and it's a sport weight. There are 262 meters per 100 grams. It's a superwash yarn, and it's nice because we felt that we were missing a hand-dyed
Did you say it was
weight.
Blueface Leicester?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay. Oh, I was tuning you out.
You were tuning me out. What can you do?
And so what's nice about this, it is superwash, but it has such a nice toothiness to it, actually. Yes. So it feels it's really soft, and it I wouldn't say that it feels like merino, but it is totally perfect for next to the skin wear.
Yes.
But it just has that toothiness, which makes it nice for color work. So I want, as soon as it came
more
in,
structure than say a regular slicker superwash.
Yeah. So as soon as it came in, I wanted to knit up something quite quickly to test it out, and so I cast on
to show you some.
Yeah. I like that color I was just holding. Actually,
Ordinary Day, yes.
No, oh
this
really?
One. Yeah, this
I
is
thought
what
it was
you're
sweater
holding.
weather, but I get them confused.
This is such great heights. I'm really into this blue one.
That subtle one.
And it's interesting because it takes the colors quite differently than the gray space, because the gray space is a cashmere silk merino blend, whereas this is a BFL. So it's really going to give the colors a different look.
Exactly. So I took home Come On Irene in the neon pink and Paperweight, which is really beautiful because it just has very subtle speckle. Can you? That light on there is not.
Yeah, I mean, our web store will have better pictures.
Yeah. And I just got the pictures back from the photographer, so they'll be up by the time this airs. Anyway, so I've been wanting to knit this hat. This obviously is probably not something I'm going to wear, so this is a store sample.
But it's fun to knit it.
Totally. I will knit this hat for myself.
Stitch stoppers. Look at that.
Oh, yeah. We have my coconut stitch stoppers.
Stitch stoppers to match.
These are the best. I love these stitch. They're my favorite stitch stoppers.
They're the most effective.
They're the most effective. They just don't pop off. These are from Coco Knits, and they come in 2 sizes and color and also grayscale ones. Those are great because I was trying it on this morning to see if it would, because I was worried it was going to be a bit small, but it actually
it's a very fun hat.
Isn't it the most
fun hat?
I cast it on I think at midnight on Friday, and it was totally addictive.
And is this an I-cord edge?
No, it's just you cast on and knit a row.
Oh, wow. It's funny. It looks a bit I-cordy-like.
It's just because the color work starts.
It's really a fun
doesn't start
hat.
until the next. And it's, what do they call that ribbing where it's, it's an actual rib, but it's a 2-color rib, basically. And so what's nice in the pattern is she provides 2 options for doing this, because not everyone wants to knit two-handed. So you have the option of, because knitting color work two-handed, where you're purling every 2 stitches. So you have 2 options in the pattern of doing it two-handed, which I wound up doing, or you can knit each row twice, where you are. I wonder if that's giving away too much. Anyway, she gives
two options
where you're basically knitting and slipping or purling and slipping stitches, so that you do each row twice rather than knitting it two-handed. I tried that for the first couple of rows, and I was like, oh no, this is too slow. So I just went to the two.
Well, it's nice when a designer does that, provides you with options.
It's a beautifully written pattern. I haven't actually knitten anything by. It's by Nastasia Hornsby, who is Moonstruck Knits, and
it's called the Wolfie hat. I don't know if I'm not sure if we said it, but I just wanted to.
The Wolfie hat.
Super cute.
Beautifully written pattern. Easy to knit. It's just a couple of small charts.
Very modern motif.
Really, and it just makes you want to knit a million of them. They're like candy. And you will definitely have enough with 2 skeins to knit 2 hats. So what's nice is you can reverse the dominant color. So 2 hats with 2 skeins. And
it could be matchy, same but different.
Yeah, exactly.
We should do that.
Anyway, I feel like we need to knit like 10 of these for the store. These are great, and they're surprisingly quick. So I do think it's something that you could knit as gifts relatively quickly.
So that's pretty much it for new yarns and store samples. And then we just have some notions and accessories that we've restocked. And some are new. So Twill and Print, where she's still going strong. Tiffany's amazing, and we just got restocked.
Always coming out with new pins.
So this one I saw her at India Untangled. I'm like, you need to add this to our order. We had an order that she was ready to ship. It's called Rainy Days Are Meant for Knitting. I mean, this is one of my favorites. And then this Night Knitter, though we had it before. Those are 2 of my favorites.
What about the counter? We don't have that yet?
Wait a minute. Yes, did we? This one, is this new? Did we have this one?
No,
I couldn't remember.
Have that one.
No. So this is called Just One More, and it's actually a pin that's a row counter.
So there's 2 dials on either side that will...
this side and that side. So that was cool. And then this is I'm just showing a few examples of stuff we had. This is the spinner one, which is a very popular one.
It actually spins.
It does. And then here are some of her progress keepers. Right side, wrong side. And then we have knit 2 together, SSK. And then we have the beginning of row marker. And then we have the knit and the purl. So those are great progress keepers if you want to keep track of where you're doing increases or decreases or your right side, your wrong side. And so we've got her full, I think we have all of our pins.
I think we have all of them,
yes,
right?
We have all of them.
And then we also have some new pins to the store from Maker's Merch. Okay, so this one, the Knitrovert pin, you guys. I think that's most of us, right? Can identify with this. These are from Maker's Merch, and they are Marceline of Hey Brown Berry, the Hey Brown Berry podcast, and her business partner Kelly. I'm not sure if Kelly also has a podcast. I'm not sure, but I know that they've started this business together called Maker's Merch, and they are developing different products, and these are 3 of their most popular pins, and I think Knitrovert is actually probably their most popular pin. And I've already attached one to my new bag, which we'll be talking about. Oh, you adding them to our...
Yeah, I just wanted to show we had one that we didn't... I just dropped this here. Some other pins from Rin Textiles. So you have your Knitrovert there on yours?
Yeah, so I'll be talking about the Twig and Wool...
Twig and Horn.
Twig and Wool. That's not even a company.
It's a new company.
Yeah, we'll start it. Okay, I'll be talking about the Twig and Horn bags in a minute, but as soon as I got my bag and my pin, I felt they were match made in heaven.
They're
so
perfect.
Those live on there.
So I just wanted to show, because we didn't have any out in stock right now, so I just wanted to show from Rin Textiles also.
Oh, look, we have 2 of these.
We have this Knit Club, which she came out with before in black, but now we have it in rose gold. So I'm sorry, the lighting again is not so great. So this one is great, and then we also have this one here that says Knit Club, and it's a little sock. So those are from Rin Textile, and this one as well is from Rin Textile. So we have Maker's Merch, we have Twill and Print, we have Rin Textiles, and we have the You Better Swatch as well from Kelborn Woolens.
Are the white ones? You Better Swatch the white versions on there?
Yes, it's right here. So and actually, if you're not a person who wants to pins on your bags, we thought this was an amazing idea. So you can hang it up in your studio and where you knit. I thought that was really pretty.
I've taken all mine off my bag now and put them on a hoop in my office. Yeah, because my bag was getting a little too heavy.
So I thought this was really pretty, and then you get to see all of them and be inspired. So that's our little pin collections. They're still going strong.
Okay.
And then, so what else?
I also wanted to let people know that our bags and totes and leather goods from Fringe Supply Company had been restocked as well. So this was the great, actually I'll just show the one that I have here in my bag. It's her toolkit. And I just have all my notions and things that I need, measuring tape, scissors, darning needles, highlighter pen, everything. I just keep that in the pocket of my bag, and I have it with me all the time. And what's nice is it's just going to get beat up and a little bit,
the color's gonna
the color will change as it gets older. And then we also got the stitch markers that come in these little leather cases. These are my favorite stitch markers, I have to say. They really are.
I'm always worried about losing them because I lose stitch markers
I know,
all the time.
What's nice, so you get the brass ones, you get silver ones as well, and so you have those sort of the ones that are different enough that you can use them to begin your row. So those are great. They really are. As she says, I think on her website, they're like jewelry for your knitting. I think I said that last time, but they really are. They make me happy.
Like pretty, we always talk about that, how we love pretty tools, right?
Yes, exactly.
We also have a new limited edition gift set that Jezebel put together, and we just find the pattern is just so, look at that, swans. So Jezebel has her standard products, and then she finds these really nice fabrics, and she does limited editions. So this is a little kit. So it's the swan pattern. It comes with their medium-sized bag.
So I think once we sell out of these ones, we won't have any more.
No, none left after this. She had a limited run on the fabric, and this is it was originally an interchangeable needle case, but she calls it, sort of her
best of.
You can put DPNs, circulars, you can put tools if you're into fountain pens.
And it's got pockets on the side.
She has here. There's a Velcro with 2 pockets. And she's got the swan. It's black on the outside, and then it has the swan print on the inside.
I love that black and the contrast with the
so
swan.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and then here, do you want to talk about that one, Lisa?
And this is the little Notions case. And I use the little one for travel, and then I have the bigger one as my Notions case. So this is, again, super cute in the swan fabric. So this is a kit that comes together. You get the needle case, you get the bag, and the little Notions pouch together. So that's a nice limited edition set from Jezebel that we got in. Duck bags. We sold our duck bags really quickly. The olive, the ochre, the black. So we placed another order, and they're actually on their way now. So they should be here in a week or so. They're coming from the U.S. So we have those bags that are being restocked.
Yeah, and these ones are actually being restocked as well. So we had posted these twig and horn bags. So these ones came in. We had ordered maybe 10 of them to start just to see how they would go.
We're trying to be reasonable.
Trying to be reasonable just to see, because they are an investment bag. But they're from Twig and Horn, and they are just so, I'm not going to be able to fully show all the pockets, but they are just so incredibly well made, and they have pockets for everything. So, and they have a middle divider. So this is where I sort of keep my big wallet and stuff like that. On one side, I can stick my laptop and notebooks. On the other side, I can stick my project bags, or you can stick project bags on both sides of that divider. It really is roomy enough to be able to do that. And then pens, cell phone, and my toolkit goes on one side of here. It really is.
And there's outside pockets?
Oh, yeah, and outside pockets as well.
I mean, the gusset is huge. Like, look at that. It's really wide. And that my problem often with bags is it's not wide enough to put my projects in. But this one
is really great. It's can really hold a couple of sweater projects in here. It's amazing. And then it has beautiful leather hardware and straps and handles. So it has, these are long enough to be over your shoulder, just carried in your hand, but then you have your crossbody strap as well. So.
And this is the canvas one. So we have the olive green. We have I took the navy blue, and then
we had camel and we had khaki.
Yes.
So they sold out in about, I would say, an hour maybe at the most. Right away. So we have ordered more, and hopefully we'll get them within, I think it took about 2 weeks to get them the first time. So hopefully we'll have them. We were last week, so we should have a good supply.
So those are great.
Yeah, soon. Maybe even by the time this goes. I don't know. And I think those are something we'll keep stocking.
I think so. They sell out quite quickly on their website too, so it's hard for us to order them and keep them in stock. But us, we do our best.
We do our best. Yeah.
And there are 2 books we want to talk, and Nurtured. 2 books that we wanted to talk about.
Oh yes, okay. And Nurtured. Okay.
So do you want to start with the books?
So I'll talk about the Pom Pom magazine. So this is another one that we have in stock, and we're all ready for a release date, but I don't think these are being launched until November 17th, the same day as the Knits About Winter book by Emily Foden. And this is a beautiful issue of Pom Pom magazine. It's being guest edited by Nora Gahn, and it is full of Victorian-inspired patterns. So I love this one by Joji Locatelli, actually called Arbor Vitae. I just love those. They're all original. Everything in here is just so original and inspired. And maybe you'll knit it as look at this one's by Zandy Peters. It's a really, really pretty shawl. There's so much work and math that goes into something like that, and lots of cables. Look at I wouldn't say those are baubles, but so much beautiful texture. And so this one has submissions from Nora Gahn, Caitlin Hunter, Joji Locatelli, Veronique Avery, Andrea Rangel, Cyrilia Rose, Zandy Peters, just to mention a few off the top. And it's beautiful. So we're well stocked, and we'll have that on sale on November 17th.
They're all in a bin waiting to go.
All in a bin, yeah.
And then we have a few. This has been a very sought after book. It's called The Vintage Shetland Project by Susan Crawford. And it's a book that we just have a few copies in store. We hummed and hawed. It's a very heavy book.
Yes.
I'll read you just a couple of sentences from the back. It says, the book you hold in your hands, The Vintage Shetland Project, is the culmination of 8 years of hard work and personal determination, inspired by the patterns and colors of Shetland knitting. The fashion historian, author, designer, and publisher Susan Crawford began her journey into a rich heritage of Shetland knitwear. So it's really, it's a coffee table book. You know, it has lots of inspiration, beautiful images. Now we didn't put these for sale on our website because they're very heavy to ship. However, if you're very interested and are unable to get it locally, please contact us
and
we
we'll
can
just
let you
quote
know.
You the shipping fee.
Exactly, it'll be shipped separately. And then the last little a new arrival in our store is Julie Asselin Nurtured.
Oh, yes.
Which is funny because we discovered it at EYF, which is hilarious because Julie Asselin is like our neighbor and we buy from her and we love her.
Well, we knew about it, but we just think we weren't in the
rustic camp yet.
Yes, exactly.
And then when we were at Isolda's booth at EYF, I'm like, oh my God, this is beautiful. What is this? I'm like, oh my God, it's
it's Nurtured. She's been trying to have us look at that for ages.
So she has 2 weights. So she has her, I guess what she would call her Aran worsted weight.
Yeah.
And then she has a lace weight. So the lace weight is a single ply.
Yeah.
And it comes on a cone. So it's really nice. There's a lot of meterage in here. So you have 708 meters for 112 grams. Mm-hmm. So you can make a shawl with 1 or with 2 of those. So that's your single plied Nurtured. And I just want to give you the combination. It's, she calls it fine wool. It's Rambouillet, Targhee, and Merino combination.
Exactly. So it's very nice. It knits up beautifully soft. This is actually, Andrea Mowry just designed a cropped sweater with this one called Nurtured, actually. And it's, I love the style of it. It's maybe not for everyone because it is cropped, but I think it would be easily modified. Just it's a bottom-up sweater, so you would just knit more before you split for your sleeves. I think this is a beautiful palette. It's very understated and
it's very natural. Like it's funny. I picture when I think of Emily Foden's book and the setting.
A lot of these.
This yarn,
nice,
maybe
the hat on the cover of the Emily Foden book would be good. For that.
They're very, very very calm and natural.
So we have one of our consultants teachers is actually knitting on a source sample and Nurtured for us. I think in Shannon Cook's timber sweater.
Yes, the timber sweater. That's Jocelyn knitting for us. Yeah, and it's a 16 to 20 stitch gauge.
Yeah,
so we're looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah.
To maneuver. So we have lots of new things. Always, looking for what's new out there. So thank you so much for tuning in. It's always a pleasure to chat and to share our chit chat with you. And we will see you in a few weeks. Yeah. Okay. Ciao.
Bye.